Darvika Giridhari Shishi Radha Vinod Bihari Ju ki jai. Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju ki jai. Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashutta Rashutta Shishimar Bhaktivedanta Narayan Gosai Maharaj Srila Gurudev ki jai. Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashutta Rashutta Shishimar Bhaktivedanta Vaman Gosai Maharaj ki jai. Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashutta Rashutta Shishimar Bhaktivedanta Trivikram Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashutta Rashutta Shishmar Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashutta Rashutta Shishmar Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashutta Rashutta Shishmar Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki jai. Nitya Lila Pravishta Maha Bhagavat Srila Gorksharas Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Nitya Lila Pravishta Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki jai. Nitya Lila Pravishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Shri Rupanu Gauriya Guru Varga ki jai. Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopal Bhatta Das Raghunath Shara Goswami Prabhu ki jai. Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda ki jai. Namachaya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Kshetra Mandala Gora Mandala Vraja Mandala Mathura Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Sarva Abhishtabhadatta Giriraj Maharaj ki jai. Shri Radha Kunda Shama Kunda ki jai. Shri Yamuna Devi Ganga Devi ki jai. Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi ki jai. Shri Bhakti Devi ki jai. Shri Purnamasi Yoga Maya ki jai. Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev ki jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Jai Śrīmatī Uma Didi ki jai. Uma Didi's auspicious birth tithi ki jai. I think, well, yeah, for those of you in the West, it's still Pratipat, still her day of her appearance. And what was her mother's name? Śrīmatī Sarayu Balaki Jai. Śrīmatī Garga Didi ki Jai. That's her mother and sister. And she, all of Srila Gurudev's dearmost servitors ki jai. Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. And the launching of this website, bhaktimadhuri.com ki jai. So, Dandavat pranams everybody. Sorry I'm a bit late. Had a really important thing happening just before I couldn't end earlier. I couldn't start earlier. But yeah, I just did a quick check to see how long this the biography is about Uma Didi on this website, this new website, bhaktimadhuri.com, and I see it's 9,000 something words, which is a lot. So I'm just giving you a warning. This program is going to go on longer than usual. It'll probably go on for another hour, 45 minutes, I'm guessing. Yeah, hour, 45 minutes. So yeah, if you have to leave any time, there's no pressure to stay, but just wanted to let you know. Where's Shrivas? I invited Shrivas to come, but he's not here. But yeah, most of the work on this website is like probably, I don't know, 90% Shrivas or more. He did. Anyways, he probably doesn't want me to say all that. But actually, no, I mean, so many people were involved. I shouldn't say 90% Shrivas, but he did a lot. This is, and here, I'll share my screen and you can, I'll give you a little tour of it. 1 second. Share. Okay, here. So this is the website, Bhakti Madhuri, the sweetness of devotion. And before Uma Didi, like we found out that she got this title, Bhakti Madhuri. We'll read about that in the biography, how she got this title, I think. But yeah, we never knew about that before because she never told anybody about that. I think she got it from Gurudev or from Srila Vaman Goswami Maharaj, maybe from both of them. But it was even published in the Gaudiya Patrika, if I remember correctly, Bhakti Madhuri. So this is like an official title that she gave, but out of her humility, she never told anybody. And we didn't even know when the day of her birth, which we found out, post her departure. And we didn't know if it was on Gurudev's, like my Gurudev Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, on his Titi, like, on Amavasya, Moni Amavasya. But I just found out yesterday that it was Pratipat. So just after, the day after my Gurudev's appearance. So in honor of her Guru Seva to her Gurudevs, Nityalila Pravishta Srila Bhaktivedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj and Nityalila Pravishta Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, we launched this website yesterday. And so first it begins with this biography, which we're about to read now. And then after that are letters the many letters that Srila Vaman Goswami Maharaj wrote to her, long, beautiful letters. So all those letters are here, and we'll be adding the letters, many letters that Srila Gurudev wrote to her soon here. And then her own writings, the essays that she wrote for Gaudiya Patrika from the years 1971 to 1986. And so Srivas has translated a bunch of them. Arthi Nivedan, Manav Jan, there's all these. And then there's there are many. The next one that will be coming, I guess, is Sadachar. But Srivas will be translating all these in the future. But and then there are audio recordings of her Kirtan explanations, her classes on Shikshashtakam, her Manashiksha classes, and Upadeshamrita classes. And then there's a gallery of, photo gallery. And this is so much fun to look at. I was just checking it out yesterday. It goes from her family photos. You can see, look great. See, look, there's little Uma right there. Uma Rani. Right there in the middle. And, but yeah, lots of amazing photos. That's for her wedding photo. Anyways, we'll see this when we're reading the biography also. Then we'll read about all that. That's her mother, Śrīmatī Sarayu Devi, and was a Parm Gurudev disciple. And then there are earlier photos of her with Srila Gurudev and Srila Vaman Goswami Maharaj. And then photos of all her cooking. Photos of her surrounded by all sorts of pots, and many photos like this, with like her making tons of different items. Lots of photos of all the different items that she'd make, and her surrounded by, look at that. Look at that. Yeah. She'd make, like, especially on days like Anukut, she'd make, I don't know, like hundreds of preparations. And so, lots of photos of that. But this is all cooked by Uma Didi. Look at that. So you could check this out on your own time, but tons of her photos of her cooking. And then there are photos of her making garlands. Lots of photos. These were her Nitya Sevas. This is when I gave her the songbook after it came out. Anyways. Yes, and then many photos of her on Parikrama with Gurudev. Picture of her, Srila Vaman Goswami Maharaj, Srila Trivikram Goswami Maharaj. Anyways, lots of rare, amazing photos. So you can check out this website, bhaktimadhuri.com. But now we are going to go through this first section that will read about her glorious life. Bhakti Madhuri Śrīyukta Uma Didi, an exemplary life of service and bhajan. Oh, Srivas is there. I didn't even notice you. All right. So So I made the text really big so that you can read it easily. Shivas, would you like to read it, or should I read it?
I literally just woke up, so I'm just happy to listen in.
Okay. All right. If you have anything that you want to add or whatever, like just feel free to jump in anytime.
Okay.
Oh, and I didn't see everybody who's here yet. Krishnamai Didi, pranams, Champak Mataji, Rukmini Didi, uh, Bhavatarani Mataji, Nri Hari Prabhu, if he's there. And then let's see on YouTube and Facebook, Raseshwari Mataji, Shubhananda Prabhu, Shachi Prabhu, Haribol, Hari Priya Didi, Krishna Premavati Didi, and I see a bunch of others, but I can only see your name if you write a comment. But Haribol, everybody. Okay, so only problem with making the text big is that for some reason it hid the titles of each section. So, anyways, I have it open on another screen. I'll just take a look here. Okay, let's begin. Okay, so Bhakti Madhuri Śrīyukta Uma Didi, an exemplary life of service and bhajan. This is her birth and early life. Okay. In Srimad Bhagavad Gita 641, Shri Krishna explains, Shuchi nam Shrimatam Gehe. My devotees are born in pure and affluent homes as they continue with their progress from one lifetime to the next. As a result of her spiritual development in previous lifetimes, Śrīmatī Uma Didi was born to a pious and wealthy family on 26 January 1933, the Shukla Paksha Pratipadatiti of Magh Mas, or the day after Moni Amavasya, in India's West Bengal in the town of Chunchura, a place blessed by the footsteps of Sriman Mahaprabhu himself. Her birth on this particular day seems to have foretold that she would spend her life following in the footsteps of Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, who is non-different from her Diksha Guru Pad Padma, born the day after Srila Gurudev's appearance. Her given name was Tripti, and her family nickname was Umarani. In Bengal, everybody will have like their name that's given, but nobody ever calls them by their name. They call them by their daknam. So her daknam was Umarani. She was the youngest of 6 brothers and 2 sisters. Her mother, Śrīmatī Surayu Bala Dasi, was an exalted Vaishnavi who was initiated by Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj. Śrīmatī Surayu had a profound impact on her 2 daughters and guided them successfully to the path of pure bhakti. Uma Didi's elder sister, Gargi Didi, her given name was, her name was Shushila Bala, but the name she was called by was Gargi Didi, was a devout Vaishnavi and disciple of Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj. Śrīmatī Surayu Devi rendered profuse service to the temples and mission of her Gurudev, and some of her writings, a poem and a Pushpanjali essay dedicated to him, were featured in issues of Shri Gaudiya Patrika, which Shivas translated, and you can find it on, well, it's on Big Drum. It might be, is it on here also? Anyways, you can find those. No, not yet. Okay, so yeah, you can find them on bigdrum.us, the poem that she wrote. Okay, so this is Uma Didi's father. I love the clothes. See, he's real aristocratic. Look at those clothes. Wow. And I guess those are some of Uma Didi's brothers. And then there's Śrīmatī Surayu Devi.
And that's her in the middle.
Oh, that's her in the middle. Wow, she looks like a little boy there. Okay, there's a little Uma Didi. Wow, very neat. Okay, so Uma Didi's father, Rai Sahib Munindranath Sadhu, was a Shakta, a worshipper of Durga Devi. He worked as an engineer in the Public Works Department, where his expertise and popularity earned him the title Rai Sahib, which is the third highest honorific title awarded Indian citizens of the British Raj. Wow. That title was only awarded to individuals who made significant life-changing contributions to their communities. Munindranath Sadhu earned special distinction as an honorary magistrate of the Hooghly Criminal Court and was the chairman of the Hooghly District Hindu Mahasabha, and is best remembered for his tireless efforts to promote women's education, which culminated in the founding of a girls' high school, the Balika Vani Mandir, which Uma Didi later attended. Though he himself was a Shakta, he played an important role in the establishment of Gaudiya Vedanta Samiti's first mat in Chunchura, the Sri Udharan Gaudiya Mat, which was surely a gesture of loving regard for his previous Vaishnavi wife. Haribol Mahipart Prabhu, Dandavat Pranams.
Pious. Not
Oops,
previous.
Did I say previous? Sorry. Pious Vaishnavi, previous Vaishnavi wife. Oops, that's a bad mistake. Pious Vaishnavi wife. Haribol Madhusudan Prabhu and Anandini. Hare Krishna. So I'm a bit, I was a bit distracted before I started, so my mind's not fully there. I have to slow down. Param Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj. Okay, so now we're reading about her having Param Gurudev's darshan. Param Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, initially came to Chunchura in 1941 with a retinue of sannyasis and brahmacharis, and began preaching extensively throughout the town, holding harikatha and kirtan programs at the homes of distinguished community members. And one of these programs, a 3-day discourse on Srimad Bhagavad Gita, was held at the home of Sri Munindranath Sadhu. Uma Didi's father, uncles, and other influential people in Chunchura were so impressed with Param Gurudev's preaching and stalwart character that they eventually approached him with a proposal to take over the worship of the Sri Gauranitai Didis situated in the dilapidated Srivas Mahaprabhur Badi temple, a short distance from Sri Munindranath Sadhu's home. And let's see, there's a picture of them. There they are. So this is Srivas Thakur's Śrīmatī and Sri Gaur in Chunchura. Beautiful, huh? So these ancient and beautiful deities had once been worshipped by Srivas Pandit and later cared for by Sri Udharan Datta Thakur. Param Gurudev accepted their request, and in April 1943, he organized a huge Nagar Sankirtan parade comprising many brahmacharis and sannyasis. In this way, the devotees made a most auspicious entrance into the old temple and restored the service of the deities to the highest Gaudiya Vaishnav standards. Such a beautiful Thakurji. And here is a picture of Sri Udharan Gaudiya Mat. Yeah, this is one of the main Gaudiya Vedanta Samiti mats. Srila Bhaktivedanta Bhamana Goswami Maharaj spent, and Srila Trivikram Goswami Maharaj especially spent a lot of time here. It's like one of the places they spent the most time, I think. Or at least, yeah, a significant amount of time. Yeah. So this temple was renamed Sri Udharan Gaudiya Mat and served as Sri Gaudiya Vedanta Samiti's first proper temple after the rented property in Kolkata where the Samiti was initially founded. That same year, in 1943, Param Gurudev held the month-long Urja Vrat or Sri Damodar Vrat in Sri Udharan Gaudiya Mat. In this way, Uma Didi's darshans of Param Gurudev began when she was 10 years old, as her family established a lifelong connection with him and his disciples. Okay, so now we're going to read about the marriage and her disillusionment with material life. Haribol Ganga Mataji. Look, there's a picture of her with her husband. She doesn't look too happy. Is that a picture of their marriage day? I think so, because she's wearing all that. Yeah. I don't know, it looks like it. Maybe not, I don't know, maybe not. That is a funny, okay. So in 1946, at the tender age of 13, as per the Bengali custom of the time, Uma Didi married into a pious family. Wow, at the age of 13. Her father-in-law, Shri Kishori Mohan De, was a follower of one of Ramakrishna Paramahansa's 16 direct disciples. When some conflict arose with his brothers, Shri Kishori Mohan De left Krishnanagar with his family on the advice of his guru and moved to Prayagraj, where he started a new life. He opened a sweet shop there named Lucky Sweet Mart, which became well known. Okay, so that's her father-in-law. Within 2 years of Uma Didi's marriage, that is, when she was 15, she tragically lost her 6-month-old daughter and her husband to smallpox. Wow, that's heavy. It seems fate did not have a life of worldly happiness in store for her, and thus presented her a cruel and sudden awakening to the fleeting nature of material life. After this tragedy, Uma Didi's father, Sri Munindranath Sadhu, with the permission of her father-in-law, had her brought back to Chunchura so she could finish her education at Chunchura's first girls' school, the Balika Vani Mandir. She was also admitted to Hooghly Mohsin College for extracurricular activities, which was close to her father's home. After finishing school, she returned to Prayagraj for some time at her father-in-law's request, as she was her in-law's eldest daughter-in-law, and very much loved by the family. Her in-laws' home was frequently visited by sannyasis of the Ramakrishna mission, and by the influence of their association, Didi began cementing the realization that spiritual pursuit was the one true purpose of life, and that material pursuits ultimately served up only sorrow, suffering, and delusion. When Uma Didi again returned to Chunchura, she began to visit Sri Udharan Gaudiya Math from time to time, and on several occasions had darshan of Param Gurudev Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj. Param Gurudev showed her great affection and would instruct her to chant Hari Nam. He even gifted her a copy of Jaiva Dharma at one point. But Uma Didi did not have so much faith in Vaishnavas at the time, as she was influenced by certain popular ideologies and had other pressing interests like her studies, fashion, and the music of the day. Oh, whoops, I haven't been looking at the chat. Rukmini Didi said, Bengali brides generally didn't look that happy. They had to fast, among other things. Okay. Oh, wow, look, there's a picture of her with her. That must be Gargi Didi, and then there's her mother, Sarayu, in the middle, and then there's Uma Didi. Wow. Okay, so now we are going to read the section, The Impact of Srila Trivikram Maharaj's Association. Haribol, Pradyumna Prabhu, and Mantramurti Mataji. Because of the impressions gleaned from her family, Uma Didi was naturally religious. And as she was the youngest in the family, everyone showered her with profuse love. She lived mainly in Chunchura. Only her mother and her sister Gargi were Vaishnavis. Gargi and her mother would go to the mat every day to hear Harikatha, and at home, her mother served Gopalji devoutly. Sarayu Devi was very keen that her youngest daughter should also enter the practice of bhakti, and prayed to all the Vaishnavas to bless her to become a devotee. Every year, she would take Didi to Sri Navadvip and Sri Vrajmandal Parikrama. After Didi had returned to Chunchura, her mother would send her to the mat on the pretext of delivering fruits, vegetables, etc., with the hopes that Didi would get some sadhu sangha. Srila Chavrika Maharaj was living in Chunchura then, and was very kind to Didi. He would set aside time to speak Harikatha to her. For a while, it seems that he was wasting his time and energy, as his words seemed to have no effect. He repeatedly emphasized that after roaming aimlessly through so many species striving for material sense enjoyment, we have now attained this rare human form of life. So why not give it to the service of Hari, Guru, and Vaishnavas? Didi was a patient listener, but she refused to wear tilak or observe other Vaishnav practices. One day, finally, Gargi Didi put tilak on her. When she walked into the mat that day, Srila Chavrika Maharaj was standing on the upper balcony and called out to her, "Uma, you're wearing tilak. It looks very beautiful, very beautiful." Uma Didi later recounted that she, a young woman at the time, thought, "If it looks beautiful, then I must wear it." So from then onwards, she began to wear tilak every day. Sweet. By the influence of Srila Chavrika Maharaj's Katha, Didi's mood began to change significantly. So, I don't know why I'm having a hard time reading today. Okay. So by the influence of Srila Chavrika Maharaj's Katha, Didi's mood began to change significantly. She began to develop an understanding of true Dharma and the Siddhanta of pure bhakti. For a while, she was still somewhat inclined to the tenets of the Ramakrishna mission, such as serving other living entities constitutes service to God. I'm just checking to make sure my mic is plugged in. Ooh, my mic is not plugged in. Sorry about that, guys. The sound hasn't been that. Okay, now the sound should be better. Haribol, Haribol. Okay. Okay, so for a while, she was still somewhat inclined to the tenets of Ramakrishna mission, serving other living entities constitutes service to God. But Srila Chavrika Maharaj gradually refuted these conceptions with his katha and firm logic. Ultimately, these talks brought her to the feet of Sri Guru. And here's a picture of her with Srila Chavrika Goswami Maharaj. Jai Ho. In 1968, sometime prior to his disappearance, Param Gurudev Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj came to Chunchura. Uma Didi approached Param Gurudev one day and gave him a 10 rupee note, suggesting it could go towards the upcoming Sri Dham Navadvip Parikrama. 10 rupees was not a small sum at the time, worth close to 1,000 rupees today. So Param Gurudev asked Didi where she had gotten so much money from. Uma Didi simply replied that she had saved up from here and there. Noticing that Uma Didi was not wearing any kantimala, any tulsi neck beads, Param Gurudev affectionately gave her some and said, "I will give you Harinam at Gora Purnima." That very year, however, on the first day of Kartik, Param Gurudev enacted his disappearance pastime. Uma Didi initially experienced some inner torment over this twist of fate. But in 1970, after a long 37 years of various trials and tribulations, on the sacred day of Sri Ram Navami, she obtained Harinam and Diksha from Srila Bhaktivedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj, who was the direct personification of Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj and his appointed successor. Uma Didi's mother, sister, and father were very pleased with this development. Uma Didi recalls this incident. In 1970, a few years after Param Gurudev had disappeared, In 1970, a few years after Param Gurudev had disappeared, on the day of Gora Purnima, in a darshan, I casually asked Srila Bhaktivedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj, "Are you giving initiation?" She had no intention of asking initiation for herself. She was just asking out of curiosity, as now he had taken up that service on behalf of his Gurudev to help the devotees. In April, Srila Maharaj had plans to come to Chunchura to observe Ram Navami, and he sent a message to Didi's elder sister Gargi. Tell Uma that I am coming and I will give her Harinam and Diksha. You put tilak and have her ready when I come to the mat. So Uma Didi says, when this news came from my sister, I felt like a goat being pulled to be, she said, I felt like a goat being pulled to be being pulled to the sacrificial arena to be slaughtered, as very soon my material life would be finished. There's a mistake. There's a little mistake here. I'll highlight it there. Okay. I remember that when I received the Kantimala, I thought I would wear only one long strand of neck beads around my neck so that others would not be able to see it. After initiation, I was sitting on the steps in the mat, chanting on my beads. Srila Chavirka Maharaj came down and saw me decorated with fresh tilak on my forehead. He said, "Oh, Uma, you look very beautiful with tilak." Hearing this compliment as a young woman, I thought, if Maharaj says that tilak makes me look so beautiful, then I will wear it every day. From then onwards, she began to wear tilak every day. In those days, to maintain proper social etiquette and the reputation of the mat, women were generally not allowed to render service in the temple, and they were strictly prohibited from entering the temple kitchen. Oh wait, is this the next section? Okay, never mind. Sorry, I'm for some reason it lost all the. Okay, never mind. In those days, to maintain proper social etiquette and the reputation of the mat, women were generally not allowed to render service in the temple, and they were strictly prohibited from entering the temple kitchen. Even when on preaching excursions, the brahmacharis did all the cooking and cleaning wherever they were, instead of accepting service from their hosts. Even when on preaching excursions, the brahmacharis did all the cooking and cleaning wherever they were, instead of accepting service from their hosts. After Uma Didi received Diksha, however, Srila Chavirka Maharaj encouraged her to cut vegetables, grind spices, etc. The rules actually changed for Uma Didi, and she easily obtained services in the mat. She's able to do that which nobody else is able to do. No other ladies were able to do. Since Srila Chavirka Maharaj was an expert in every service, he taught Uma Didi many things. Under his direction, she even began making garlands and crowns for the deities. In this way, she became a regular mat attendant, hearing more and more Harikatha each day and stepping deeper into the philosophy and practice of bhakti. Her mother and sister were delighted. Now here, this section is relationship with her Diksha Guru Pad Padma. And Haribol Dawa, and I don't know, yeah, and Narayani Mataji, Hare Krishna. Okay, so when Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj started his preaching in Chunchura in 1941, Srila Bhakti Vedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj would frequent Chunchura. Later, after Sri Udharan Gaudiya Math was established, Sri Gaudiya Vedanta Samiti's printing press, Gauranga Printing Works, was shifted from Kolkata to Chunchura. From then onwards, Srila Bhakti Vedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj spent a lot of time in Chunchura, printing Sri Gaudiya Patrika and other books. In this way, he became well acquainted with Uma Didi's family. After receiving Harinam and Diksha, Uma Didi would ask her Guru Pad Padma many questions in person and via letters. Srila Vaman Goswami Maharaj would affectionately address her as Ma Uma. He wrote her nearly 40 long letters wherein he presented in simple, accessible language not only the essential teachings of Gaudiya Siddhanta, which he had gleaned from his own fully surrendered life of service to Hari Guru and Vaishnavas, but many subtle elements in the path of bhajan. The contents of these letters are therefore especially instructive for sincere sadhaks wishing to progress on the path of spiritual life. Uma Didi saved and preserved those letters for many years, and after Srila Vamana Goswami Maharaj's disappearance, they were gradually published in Bengali and Hindi. On her urging in 2021, on the occasion of Srila Vamana Goswami Maharaj's centennial, they were published in English as well, in a volume entitled A True Servant, a True Master. By preserving these letters and facilitating their publication, Uma Didi has rendered an invaluable service to the bhakti sadhaks of present and future throughout the world. And these letters really, it can't be expressed how amazing they are. And you can find them all on this website, bhaktimadhuri.com. Haribo Vishaka Didi. Okay, so after receiving such powerful impressions around bhakti from her mother and her elder sister, Uma Didi developed a very strong inclination towards service. Once, she wrote to her Guru Padma, Srila Vamana Goswami Maharaj, expressing great sadness that she was a female disciple and thus limited from rendering more services. In response to this, her Gurudev wrote the following in a letter dated 7 April 1972. He said, "If the soul of the living entity is proven by scripture to be a form of Shakti, feminine potency, then what objection can one have to being a daughter? Gita Shastre Jiva Rupa Shakti Kori Mane. In the Bhagavad Gita, the form of the soul is deemed to be that of Shakti. This you have read in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila 6.163. The possessor of infinite potencies, Lila Purushottam Sri Krishna, is the sole enjoyer, and as his potencies, all souls are his maidservants, to be enjoyed by him." That is Chaitanya Charitamrita. Sri Gurudev is also Ashraya Jatiya Vigraha, Sri Bhagavan's beloved maidservant. Hence, though as Guru Tattva he has fatherhood imposed on him, because he is Shakti, he has more love and affection for his daughters. That's so sweet. I think I've heard Gurudev say a similar thing like that before also. Hare Krishna Anadi Govinda Prabhu. Wow, there's a very early picture of Srila Vamana Goswami Maharaj. In another letter dated 11 November 1970, Srila Vamana Goswami Maharaj explains the deep meaning of the name Uma. These three letters have given rise to the sacred syllable Om. The letter A represents the one true hero of all the worlds, Shri Krishna, as he himself stated in the Gita, Aksharanam Akarosmi. Of all syllables, I am A. The letter U represents Shri Radha, whom Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita refers to as Naika Shiromani, Radha Thakurani, the crowning jewel of all heroines. So that's Śrīmatī Radhika. And the letter refers to the living entities who, in this material world, are differentiated as male and female and identified as sadhaks and sadhikas. Hence, the living entities can attain the omnipotent Bhagavan Shri Krishna through sadhan by worshipping the syllable Om and Shri Nam Brahma. Joining the letter U, representing Shri Radhika, with the word Ma, produces the name Uma. Even though this then entails Shri Radharani being envisioned as mother of the universe, it does no harm to her personal identity or mood as divine paramour. By worshipping Shri Radhika, who is Krishna Mai, Krishna imbued, Para Devi, the supreme goddess, Sarva Lakshmi Mai, the reservoir of all goddesses of fortune, Krishna Manamohini, the enchantress of Krishna's mind, along with Shri Krishna, who is her prananath, the Lord of her life, you will attain bhakti to them. This is the meaning of your name, Uma. Srila Vaman Goswami Maharaj would seldom give orders to his disciples because he was very cautious not to implicate them in Guru Avagya, in disobeying Guru. In the letters he wrote to Uma Didi, however, along with profuse blessings, affectionate reassurance, and advice on bhajan, he gave her many clear and direct instructions, like the order to chant a lakh of Harinam every day. Yeah, you can see that in like one of the first letters. Is it the first letter? I think it's the first letter. Or maybe it's the second letter. But yeah, he told her to chant 1 lakh of Harinam every day. Uma Didi took these instructions to heart and followed them to the very best of her ability until her last breath. He could give Uma Didi direct instructions because he knew that she would not ever do Guru Vagya, that she would completely follow throughout her whole life his instructions. Haribol Sudevi Didi and Narayani Didi is saying that Srila Prabhupada gives the same definition of Om in the teachings of Lord Chaitanya. Nice. On the order of her Guru Pad Padma, Uma Didi also wrote over a dozen devotional essays in Bengali, which were published in Sri Gaudiya Patrika. And you can find these articles also on this website, bhaktimaduri.com. I think like maybe 6 or 7 have been translated already by Srivas. And he also, you'll see on there all the articles there, and it says coming soon. So yeah, this website is not a static website. It's going to be continually updated. On the order of her Guru Pad Padma, Uma Didi also wrote, oops, I just read that. Also in like the first letters to Uma Didi, there's one letter especially where he's, all throughout the letter, he's encouraging her about how important and how beneficial it is to write devotional essays. He really encouraged her in this way. Under his guidance, she thus started studying all the scriptures in great depth. Her room in Mathura was full of books, and she ended up having a collection of many rare editions that are no longer in print. As per her Gurudev's instructions, she made a lifelong habit of studying scripture daily, and as a result, she matured in her grasp of Gaudiya Siddhanta. Every year without fail, from after Kartik until Gaur Purnima, Uma Didi would go to wherever her Gurudev was in Bengal to have his association and hear Harikatha from him. In his final years, Srila Vaman Goswami Maharaj was mostly silent, not speaking with anyone, nor would he respond to questions. Yes, that was actually the only time I ever had darshan of Srila Vaman Goswami Maharaj, was when he was in this, he wasn't speaking anything to anybody, never. Like he was completely silent for a very long time. For years, right? Yeah, years. He wouldn't say a single word ever. But once, when Uma Didi came to see him, he broke his silence. His sevak announced her arrival with a clear joy, he uttered just one word, Uma. Such was her profound loving connection with her Guru Pad Padma. I was just with somebody who said that she was with him during that time. Forgot who it was. Anyways, yeah. But she saw that. He like smiled and like he lit up and said, Uma. And there's wow, look at that picture. That's so sweet. Look at Uma Didi's smile on her face as she's having darshan of Srila Vaman Goswami Maharaj. It's really beautiful. It's a really big smile. Okay, so now I think this is the next section. Yeah. So this is attraction to Srila Gurudev's Vraj Katha. While Srila Chavrika Maharaj prepared the foundation of Uma Didi's spiritual life, it was from Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, that Uma Didi began to hear about Vraj Ras and become attracted to Vraj. While still living in Chunchura, she used to write letters to Srila Gurudev, who would visit Chunchura from time to time. Srila Gurudev wrote approximately 70 letters to Uma Didi from Mathura. Wow, 70 letters, most of them short and practical communications. But woven into their correspondence are many spiritual instructions, profuse encouragement and inspiration, and many affectionate exchanges. Actually, in our nurturing the seed session last night, we went through a quote that something that Gurudev said. I'm just going to read it really quickly. Yeah, this is from last night, our session last night. Gurudev said to Uma Didi, Gurudev wrote this to Uma Didi, 1st February 1976. He said, "Without the mercy of Bhagavan, especially without the mercy of the devotees, the proclivity for non-duplicitous Hari Bhajan cannot arise. You are very fortunate in this regard. Enthusiasm and eagerness for hearing Hari Katha is indeed the foremost path by which one can enter the realm of transcendence. Since such eagerness has arisen within you, you will therefore be able to receive the mercy of Hari, Guru, and Vaishnavas. Bhagavan, who is full of compassion, has given you ample opportunities to hear Hari Katha, and you too are endeavoring to benefit from this. This does not become a possibility for everyone. Gradually, develop your inquisitiveness while hearing Hari Katha, and continue to perform Hari Bhajan with increasing enthusiasm and conviction." So there are many, that's just an example of how Srila Gurudev used to encourage her in his letters. Okay, so what is clear is that Srila Gurudev felt special gratitude to Uma Didi's mother, elder sister, and relatives for all the heartfelt service they rendered to Param Gurudev and the various mats of the Sri Gauri Vedanta Samiti over the years. Some of these letters have been published in previous editions of Sri Bhagavat Patrika, and some have been translated into English and published online. After the departure of her mother in 1986, Uma Didi was unsure of what to do. Wait, 1 second. Okay, yeah. So after the departure of her mother in 1986, Uma Didi was unsure of what to do and where to go. She stayed in Sri Devananda Gaudiya Math, Navadvip, for some time, but she could not see herself living there. As she heard more and more about Vraj from Srila Gurudev, she developed a powerful desire to be under his guidance. She approached Srila Chavrika Maharaj and expressed to him her desire to live in the Mathura Math. Srila Chavrika Maharaj broached the subject with Srila Gurudev on her behalf, and Srila Gurudev gave her permission. Srila Chavrika Maharaj, who clearly saw Uma Didi as a daughter, personally accompanied her from Chunchura by train to help her relocate to Mathura. Wow, isn't that amazing? Srila Chavrika Goswami Maharaj himself went on the train with her to help her relocate to Mathura. That is just so beautiful. Wow, look at that picture of Gurudev. I haven't seen that picture before. It's a really old picture. Beautiful. I wonder if this is one of Uma Didi's personal photos of Gurudev, like from her collection. Uma Didi left Bengal and came to the Mathura Math towards the end of 1986. At that time, the Math was rather impoverished, presenting a very austere lifestyle. It was not easy for anyone, man or woman, to live there. As the saying goes, "Je sohe, she rohe." Only those who endure stay. Those who can tolerate, those who can endure, they will stay. They will remain in the Math. For a woman raised in a rich family, the change would have been drastic, living in a Spartan Math among 35 to 40 brahmacharis. The brahmacharis were sometimes harsh, but Didi had tremendous reserves of patience and tolerance. And we hear from from Madhav Maharaj, from Ban Maharaj, from Tirtha Maharaj, how austere the Mat was in those days. And yeah, just how, it was really intense back then, like really, really intense. Even Srila Gurudev was doubtful in the beginning, wondering how long she could live the Mat life. So instead of giving her a permanent room, he gave her a room in the guest house. But Uma Didi had no intention of leaving the Mat. After some time, seeing her resolve, Srila Gurudev assigned her a permanent room. As she was the only woman in the Mat, living in a tiny room with no attached bathroom, she made a habit of waking up at 2 a.m. before the brahmacharis to use the bathroom facilities. Even in the freezing waters, she bathed in cold water. And Mathura is freezing during the, sorry, did I say waters? Even in the freezing winters, and Mathura really is freezing in the wintertime. She bathed in cold water at 2 o'clock in the morning, got ready for Mangala Arati every morning without fail, and then did her assigned service, which was washing the deities' brass plates, bowls, and puja paraphernalia. She had to crouch on the cold marble floor of the kitchen, scrubbing the brass furiously till it was shiny and spotless. She carried on doing this service daily, well into her late 70s, and was heard incessantly reciting stotras and ashtakams as she did her seva. Actually, for 2 years, I lived in the small room right next to the kitchen. Me and Madan, we shared that room. And you know that little room? It's like right beside the kitchen. And so every morning I would hear her singing. She'd go through all the different stotrams. I remember her singing Sharda Goswami Ashtakam and like this. And this was during the freezing winter. I remember hearing this every day, hearing her sing all these stotrams while she washed the brass pots. In the summers, she endured Mathura's famously intense heat in her small oven-like room on the upper floor, which gets hit by the sun. She spent many summers like that. Her room did have a fan, if there was electricity, but she never got a cooler for herself, though she easily could have. Yeah, and even when I was in Mathura, which wasn't like that early on, I remember the power was going out for many hours every day. So I remember at one point it was like half the day there was no power during the hot summer. She wanted to live under guidance rather than be independent and have more facilities than everyone else. Finally, in the late 80s, after maybe 15 years, a foreign devotee gave her a small cooler, which she agreed to use. Didi lived like this for 30 years, from 1986 till 2016, without any complaints and without bothering anyone for comforts. She had taken to the renounced life with utmost sincerity and determination. When she left Trunchura, she took with her the gold ornaments she had received for her marriage, as well as the gold ornaments passed down to her by her late mother, and distributed them. She gave some to her Diksha Guru Pad Padma, Srila Bhaktivedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj, for the service of Sri Devananda Gaudiya Mat, and some to Srila Trivikram Goswami Maharaj for the service of Sri Uddharan Gaudiya Mat, and the rest to Srila Gurudev, Srila Narayan Goswami Maharaj, for the service of Sri Keshavji Gaudiya Mat. She offered up these precious ornaments lovingly and selflessly, keeping nothing for herself. As she was the youngest of a wealthy family, money kept coming to her, and she made frequent financial contributions to Sri Keshavji Gaudiya Mat. Later, she also contributed to the construction of Sri Rup Sanatan Gaudiya Mat in Vrindavan. Didi's father had put one of the family homes in her name, and so whatever money came from the rental of that property, she utilized it in the service of Hari, Guru, and Vaishnavas, while she herself lived a simple, austere life. And anybody who has gone inside her room in Mathura, they'll see how simply she lived. No more opulently than any other brahmachari. She wore no ornaments and was attached only to the mat and to items that could be utilized in the service of the Vaishnavas. Uma Didi's life in the... One second, I just need to... Okay. Uma Didi's life in the mutt, devoid of indulgence, was thus on par with that of pakka sannyasis, and much more than sannyasis nowadays. Yes. Impeccable in her etiquette and conduct, she treated all the sannyasis and brahmacharis like her brothers and sons. In those days, people rarely brought sweets to offer to Thakurji. It was mostly Uma Didi who made them. On Ekadashis, she would personally cook Thakurji's special meal of rice, dal, sabjis, etc. She would cook at least one dish daily for Thakurji, and frequently make other special dishes like pita panna, that's coconut burfi in a rice pastry soaked in condensed milk, that she would personally distribute to the brahmacharis. If one of the brahmacharis was out on some errand, she would save them a portion for when they returned. Later on, when Uma Didi went preaching in the West, she would bring back toffee, pens, notebooks, good quality organic soaps, etc., and she would make little care packages for each brahmachari. With care and attention, she would give out the packages to one brahmachari at a time. Beyond this, like a doting mother, she frequently gave them items she knew they needed for their service. Yeah, I always loved that. Whenever she'd come back from her preaching, at some point, somebody would come and say, Uma Didi's calling you to her room. And then I'd go there, and then she would give me the care package. And she did that for each brahmachari, like that, separately. Wow, that's a pretty neat picture. Look, there's Uma Didi standing there. And then it's Gurudev. I think that's Naru Gopal Prabhu, who's standing right next to Gurudev. Is that Naru Gopal or Nani Gopal? I can't remember. I think Naru Gopal. Look, there's Pan Maharaj. Subal Saka Brahmachari, right? And then Madhav Maharaj, of course, Naveen Krishna Brahmachari. And then there's Parameshwari Prabhu. Wow, it's a nice picture. Okay. So this section is called Attachment to Gurudev's Hari Katha. Oops, I'm just highlighting anytime I see a little proofreading thing. There. Okay. Uma Didi could stay in the Uma Didi could stay in the mat, a rare feat for a well-to-do woman, as stated. The reason why she could stay in the mat is because her sole objective was to hear Srila Gurudev's Katha, particularly his Vraj Katha. For this, she endured all manner of difficulties. While many brahmacharis came and went, Didi tolerantly stayed. Oh, oops. Yes. Thanks for pointing that out, Rukmini Didi. I'll share that with. Yeah. Okay. For a well-to-do woman, as stated. Thanks. This is really helpful. Please continue if you find anything. While many brahmacharis came and went, Didi tolerantly stayed. Wherever Srila Gurudev's Hari Katha was going on, Uma Didi would be there, sitting at the very front on the ladies' side. And she was always there ahead of time. If there was some chance she could be late, she would save her place by putting her notebook where she planned to sit. During Srila Gurudev's classes, she would make notes and also record them on her tape recorder. As Srila Gurudev would speak only some portions of his lecture in English, after class, the foreign devotees would cram into a tiny room to hear the English translation. And if any devotee had a question about the katha, she could repeat Gurudev's words to them, word for word. Because she knew that Hari Katha to heart, when she repeated it to anyone, it had an impact. That's a nice picture. Where is that? That's in Shri Modra Druma Gaudiya Mat. Oh yeah, Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur's Shripat. There she is standing in front of Gurudev. Okay. And here's a picture of her at, that looks like Radha Damodar. Is that right? Is that the Pushpa Samadhi of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada? That's what it looks like. Look, there's Uma Didi, full black hair. Okay, so now this section is conviction in following the limbs of bhakti. Didi did not, we just reached the halfway point, just letting you guys know. So this is, yeah, we'll probably be reading for another hour. But if any of you have to leave now, you could always come back later and listen to it also. So no pressure to stay. Didi did not listen to Harikatha to acquire knowledge. She listened to put it into practice. She did not have so many verses memorized, but she had a profound grasp of their substance. She heard Tattva Siddhanta and applied it. From around 2 a.m. in the morning till about 10 p.m. at night, Uma Didi's whole day was centered around the limbs of bhakti. She would wake up, complete her bath, recite Jaidvani and various stavas and stutis from Giti Gucha, and complete almost 32 rounds before Mangalarti. Wow. She had countless bhajans memorized and would sing them attentively, her eyes closed. She would complete 1 lakh Harinam every day before taking rest, and she was sure to study the scriptures every day as her Gurudev had instructed her. With great enthusiasm, conviction, and steadiness, Utsahan Nishchayad Dharyat Tat Tat Karma Pravartanat, she practiced bhakti. One second. I need to shut off one thing. I have my blocker turn on at 8:30. I'm just going to shut it off so that we don't lose this all. There. Okay. Down. Okay. So she would be the first person to enter the temple room in the morning, as if she had been waiting the whole night for Mangalarti. If, as at the end of her life, she was somehow confined to her room or bed, she would sing the Arati Kirtans at Arati time. Early on the morning of 26 December of 2021, on Srila Vamana Goswami Maharaja's appearance day and Srila Narayan Goswami Maharaja's disappearance day, she suffered a severe heart attack about an hour and a half before Mangalarti. By the time devotees organized a car and got her to the Ramakrishna Mission Hospital on the outskirts of Vrindavan, it was Mangal Arati time. As the nurses wheeled her into the intensive care and started attaching wires and monitors and administering intravenous medicines, she was gripping the hands of the devotees who were with her, urging them to join her in singing the Mangal Arati prayers, beginning with Shri Guruvashtakam. As the devotees tried their best to sing amid all the commotion, Uma Didi was so focused that the moment someone would falter due to distraction, she would sing a bit louder, guiding their attention back, although still feeling pain in her chest and possibly experiencing further cardiac arrest. Ranga Didi pulled up the live Mangal Arati Darshan in Sri Gopinath Bhavan. The devotees at the Bhavan were singing the exact same verse Uma Didi was singing from her hospital bed, showing how closely she had attuned herself to the sacred ceremony. Isn't that mystical? She was singing Mangalarti herself, and then when they brought it up on the live video, they were at the very same verse that she was on. She was fully aware of what part they were of Mangalarti they were at in the Math. In Gopinath Bhavan. Every year, Srivas saw that himself. He was there for the whole thing. Every year, Didi would perform Kartik Rajmandal Parikrama and Sri Navadip Dham Parikrama, visiting the places of Bhagavan's pastimes, always under the guidance of Guru and Vaishnavas, never alone. At the Leela Stalis, she was sure to listen fervently to the glories of the Dham and the Leelas that transpired there, even if a new devotee was speaking. In fact, she would not move on to the next place until she had heard the katha of the current place. She could thus repeat the pastimes in elaborate detail. Furthermore, she would offer ghee lamps, flowers, and perform achman of the kunds and give donations to all the temples without fail. In Kartik 2022, despite physical weakness and difficulty breathing and walking, she visited the 7 main temples of Vrindavan as per her lifelong practice, participating in the daily katha, kirtan, parikrama, and everything else as much as possible. But before Sri Navadvip Dham Parikrama 2022, she fell so ill that the doctors forbade her from going anywhere. Missing Sri Navadvip Dham Parikrama for the first time ever deeply pained her heart. She expressed again and again that her missing parikrama was due to some grave offense. There's a picture of her at Kaliya Hrad, her walking into, and also Prabodhananda Saraswati Thakur's samadhi. Okay, so now the section we're beginning is serving through cooking. Uma Didi knew the power of service to Bhagavan and his devotees. She scrubbed Thakurji's brass archan utensils in the mornings, prepared the large fruit offering in the afternoons. She put her heart into services that some may deem insignificant. Some may also think that services such as sweeping the temple or washing pots is for the uneducated. But Uma Didi, who is highly educated with deep grasp of Shastra, regarded it an honor. She regarded it an honor to serve Bhagavan in any way. She loved cooking and used to prepare scores of dishes on festival occasions. You can see lots of pictures of her in the gallery section of this website. Tons of pictures of all the different items that she'd make, all the huge festivals, her surrounded by tons of pots. Yeah, so you can check that out if you like. Wherever she was, she cooked at least one dish for Thakurji and the Vaishnavas every day, often making them first-class samosas and matari, that's a savory fried biscuit. She would be in the kitchen night after night in the period leading up to the Anukut Mahotsav, which was the only time the kitchen was empty, preparing various dishes for Giriraj, thus inspiring others to do the same. Her memory and eyesight were very sharp well into her old age, so she was able to simultaneously to see to her own preparations and to the preparations of others. After Kartik, she would preach in India. Sorry, here's a picture of her cooking on Anukut. After Kartik, she would preach in India or abroad, always taking the dry Anukut prasad to gift the devotees. This niyam seva of cooking for Anukut was something she did for over the course of her whole life, right up until Kartik of 2022. She would prepare special dishes, the known favorites of our Guru Varga, on their appearance and disappearance days. Whenever Srila Vaman Goswami Maharaj and Srila Gurudev Srila Narayan Goswami Maharaj visited Chunchura, she would cook for them at some point during their stay. And when Srila Gurudev traveled from Navadvip to Mathura, Didi and her sister Gargi would cook large quantities of prasad for him and however many devotees were with him. They would personally deliver it to them when the train stopped momentarily at Bandel station, a few stops away from Chunchura. Sometimes Didi recounted how Srila Gurudev once chastised her heavily for adding too much chili to one of her dishes. Gurudev said, "Krishna only eats soft, sweet things like butter and yogurt," he said. His soft hands and mouth must have gotten burned. After this incident, Didi was very careful with the amount of chili she put in her cooking, and she never oversalted anything. Look at that picture. She's surrounded by pots and preparations. My God, that looks really intense. Okay. 1 second. Okay, so now we are beginning the section. Oh, Bindu Mataji is here, and she said that, yes, she told us that. Nice. Now the section is Serving by Wealth. Uma Didi committed whatever wealth that came to her to the service of Bhagavan and the devotees. Here are some examples. From the very beginning of her life in the Math, she would contribute money yearly to Sri Navadvip Dham Parikrama and Sri Vrajmandal Parikrama. At the time of Sri Navadvip Dham Parikrama, she would give donations for the service of the deities in Sri Devananda Gaudiya Math and for the service of the samadhis of her Diksha Guru Pad Padma and Param Gurudev. Then, in later years, she would give donations for the deities in Sri Sri Keshavji Gaudiya Math Navadvip, for Srila Gurudev's Samadhi temple there, and for Srila Trivikram Goswami Maharaj's Samadhi. During the Parikrama, she would sponsor prasad one time for all the thousands of devotees assembled. She would also sponsor almost 1,000 liters of milk to make sweet rice for the devotees prasad at Nrsinghapalli. On the first day of Sri Vrajmandal Parikrama, on the day of Param Gurudev's disappearance, she would sponsor the midday feast for everyone. And on the last day of Kartik, she would sponsor the kachoris and amriti, a kind of jalebi, fried in ghee, at her specific insistence. She did the same for Anukut Mahotsav, for the disappearance days of her Diksha Guru Pad Padma and Srila Trivikram Goswami Maharaj, for Julan Mahotsav and Sri Rup Sanatan Gaudiya Math, and for Sri Janmashtami and Sri Keshavji Gaudiya Math. These were some of her annual services, yet she never promoted herself in any way or advertised the seva she performed. Yeah, I actually never knew about this until I just read this now. I didn't even know that she sponsored all those festivals or anything. First time I'm reading that. And you see how simply she lived herself. She never kept any money for herself. Oh, Rukminidi, we usually spell Kartik, like, what is that rule in Harinamamritya Vyakaranam? We don't, with the ref, doesn't, we usually don't double it before. So like we write kirtan with one ta, and so Kartik also with one ta. Uma Didi also actively endeavored to fulfill Srila Gurudev's Manobhishta by offering support to book publication services. After Srila Gurudev's disappearance, she would contribute as much as she could from donations she received during her travels so that the book publication service could go on nicely. She sponsored many of Srila Gurudev's books that were translated into English and all 5 parts of the Hindi Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. From time to time, she would also contribute to the publication of the Hindi monthly magazine Shri Shri Bhagavat Patrika, and made considerable financial contributions to the preservation of Srila Gurudev's audio Harikatha and the upcoming documentary about Srila Gurudev. Whatever donation she received while preaching, she would divide it into little bundles dedicated to these various services, never keeping anything for herself. Sometimes Shripad Tirtha Maharaj would say to her, "Didi, you should keep some money for yourself. You will need it later." But Didi would tell him, "If I accumulate money, then how will I develop the 6 types of surrender to Bhagavan?" She remains fully under the shelter of her Guru Varga and Bhagavan. The last few years of her life, she was unable to preach due to her deteriorating health. But Gurudev and Krishna saw that she was taken care of. Even in such ill health, she sustained her determination to serve Sri Hari, Guru, and Vaishnavas, her focus being to perform bhajan of Bhagavan. Once, while traveling abroad, her glasses broke. Didi went to the store and got the cheapest glasses there. The devotees wanted to get her a second pair, but she took only one, explaining that if she had a second, she would be likely to neglect and lose the first pair. She was never frivolous with money, seeing it as an ingredient for Krishna's service. She never wanted to spend money on herself. She'd get the cheapest glasses possible. Wow. Devoid of the desire for prestige. Uma Didi was always brutally honest with herself and deeply introspective. She saw herself as an insignificant recipient of her Guru Varga's mercy, so she always stayed genuinely humble. She never cultivated the arrogance of thinking herself better than or superior to others, despite her good fortune of residing in the Math and associating constantly with Srila Gurudev. She never became affected by the waves of prestige that come to worldwide preachers. She would say, "Today someone is honoring me, so I am pleased. Tomorrow, that same person may disrespect or criticize me. On the surface, I will appear to be unaffected, but inside, I will be burning." That was how, yeah. In her advanced age, Didi would get down on her knees and bow to sannyasis who were many decades her junior. She extended due honor to everyone. She would say, "I have no qualification. It is only by the grace of Guru and Vaishnavas that people hear what I have to say." She directed people's attention not to herself, but to following the orders of the Guru Varga, encouraging them to chant Harinam, go on parikrama, and participate in fulfilling Srila Gurudev's Manopishta. Yeah, she wouldn't just try to make people happy, say what they would want to hear and glorify them and make them feel puff them up or anything like that. But she would only tell them what would help them become more dedicated to their Gurudev and to the path of bhakti. I had one experience like that. One time Anita said Anita and I were talking to Uma Didi, and Anita said something like, "Oh, Madhukar is doing so much in the publication." She said he's working so hard or something like that. And then Uma Didi said, "He can do more." In 1986, Didi's 3 gurus awarded her the title Bhakti Madhuri in recognition of her qualities and inclination to serve. But few people knew about this. It was revealed after she left this world. It's actually it's Srivas it's in one of the articles that Srivas translated. In the Gaudiya Patrika, they gave the title to her, Bhakti Madhuri, also at the end of one of her articles. I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah, so this was revealed that she got the title Bhakti Madhuri after she left this world. It is quite natural for traversers of the spiritual path to make some mistakes, but few have the courage to acknowledge their mistakes before others and ask for forgiveness. This sort of courage can only be seen in someone who has the virtues of deep sincerity, simplicity, and real honesty. One devotee recounted how in the middle of speaking Harikatha to a large assembly in the West, Uma Didi realized she had made a mistake in her perceptions of a certain Vaishnav. She began to weep and said that she could feel Gurudev telling her in her heart that she was wrong. Overcome by this realization, she did not hesitate to apologize to the devotees who were very much junior to her and beg them for forgiveness. Though she could have done so in private, her childlike simplicity was such that she confessed her mistake as soon as she realized it in front of a large formal assembly. Wow. Can you imagine how connected you have to be to Gurudev that while you're speaking, all of a sudden, at the very moment, you get a direct indication from Gurudev that you are wrong in this, and then to very humbly in front of the whole assembly, admit her fault or beg forgiveness for her fault. Rukmini Didi said, Maybe this is a previous point. She said, yes, this was a significant and rare quality of hers, that she would say what was needed. Oh, yes. Yes, that's for sure. Whatever was on her mind. She was definitely not a people pleaser. She would say whatever came on her mind to anybody. You never had to worry about what she was thinking. What she was thinking about you. There's a picture of her in Badger doing a qualification. I hope. One second. So now we are beginning the section, Unwavering Guru Nishta. As a result of associating with and serving her 3 gurus for some 60 years, she had absolute conviction in them, as was evident in her words and actions. She had not the slightest interest in any philosophy extraneous to that of the Saraswat lineage, being especially fully devoted to the dhara, the current of her Param Gurudev Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj. She never stepped 1 foot outside of it. She never added in anything of her own, and wanted to see all devotees tasting the happiness of being in this line. Didi was fully given to Srila Gurudev's Vani, and thus she was a pillar of his mission, but she was always in the background. Clearly, she saw it as her primary duty to protect the current of his conceptions, his vicharadhara, and would immediately call out and refute anyone who opposed or distorted it. She found concocted conceptions of Upasampradayas intolerable, stating she would have refuted their misconceptions in an even more public and aggressive fashion had she had not been in a female body. In 2019, Shamarani Didi published a compilation of quotes from Param Gurudev, Srila Gurudev, and the previous acharyas reconciling various conceptions of Jiva Tattva, which has long been a contentious issue in many circles. Uma Didi was so impressed with the book that she began enthusiastically reiterating various points from it in her classes in the West. In addition to this, she began fervently requesting Shamarani Didi to speak openly on the subject of Jiva Tattva. Uma Didi never shied away from debate, and by nature was never hesitant to speak the plain truth. She drew her strength from her conviction in Guru and Vaishnavas, and from her faith in Harinam. Once, at a house program in the West, Uma Didi spoke on the topic of Jiva Tattva. The Grahastha devotees there became disturbed, and when she was leaving after the program, they did not even come outside to pay pranam and see her off. They had told Didi prior to the program not to speak on that topic, but she told them, "I am not here to please anyone. I have come to preach the message of my Gurudev." Another time, very few devotees attended one of her programs, and the organizers expressed some unhappiness about this. Didi told them not to worry. Harikatha is spoken for Bhagavan's pleasure. Even demigods and goddesses come to hear that katha, so it does not matter whether people come or not. That's a nice picture. Uma Didi with Shamarani Didi. That looks like Badger, Nanda Gopal's house. No, it's not. No, never mind. It's not. So now this is the section, Natural Humility. As mentioned, Uma Didi had the fortune of obtaining the darshan of and serving Param Gurudev and other exalted personalities. But she never flaunted her good fortune to impress others. If anyone ever said to her, "You are so fortunate to have had darshan of Param Gurudev. You are a special recipient of the Guru Varga's mercy," then she would say, "But sadly, even though I am so lucky, I could not take advantage of that mercy." By spiritual standards, she was no less than most sannyasis, but she only wanted to be the servant of a servant. Many wanted to become her disciple, but she was firm in wanting to remain a genuine disciple herself. This humility earned the respect of sannyasis, brahmacharis, and grihastas alike, and inspired them in their spiritual progress. Didi was so qualified, but often people could not even tell because she never advertised herself. She never formally delivered katha in the mat, but shared informally from time to time. She had such honor for the words of her Guru Varga that she would listen to any sincere speaker in a mood of total humility and submission. And from time to time, she would teach them proper understanding of tattva. Regardless of who was giving class, even if it was a brahmachari who had only been in the mat for 2 days, she would be sure to sit and listen to him, correcting him if necessary. If that new devotee faithfully reiterated the vani of her diksha and shiksha gurus, she would earnestly tell them after class, I learned something today in your katha. Thank you. In this way, she would encourage the brahmacharis, new and old, in their sadhan bhajan. And it was the same in the West, wherever the devotees assembled. When Didi attended the New Vraj Harikatha festival, she was keen to sit and listen to each and every speaker's lecture very attentively. This meant she was listening patiently for hours on end. I don't think anybody other than Uma Didi would sit in all the Harikatha during the New Vraj Harikatha festival, because it's all throughout the day. There's speaker after speaker after speaker after speaker, and they have like a list of who's going to speak on what topic all throughout the day. And so usually you just kind of pick and choose which speakers you want to listen to, but Uma Didi, she'd go for everything. Didi would also often say that if even your little finger gets burnt, it gives a person great pain. In the same way, Guru and Vaishnavas cannot tolerate any insult to even the most junior of Vaishnavas. Therefore, she would insist that we give respect to everyone. Wow, this is such a beautiful point. Even if your little finger gets burnt, it gives a person great pain. In the same way, Guru and Vaishnavas cannot tolerate any insult to even the most junior of Vaishnavas. Gurur sevak hoy, manya apanar. The servant of Guru deserves your honor. This conception is to be applied to all manner of servants. Those who are junior and those who are more exalted are rendering more intimate service to everybody. Therefore, when Didi saw any devotee junior to her striving to fulfill the manobhrishta of the Guru Varga, she would show that devotee special affection. This inclination of hers brings to mind that of Lalita Devi. Yam yam api vrajakule vrishabhanujaya preksha swapaksha paravim anarudhyamanam sadyastad ishta ghatane nakritartayantim devim gunai sulalitam lalitam namami. If Lalita Devi sees any young gopi of Vraj, if she sees that that young gopi of Vraj has an inclination to serve her beloved Saki Śrīmatī Radhika, she instantly fulfills all her ambitions. In a similar way, if Uma Didi saw anyone had some interest in performing any small service to Srila Gurudev, she would strive to assist that person in every way possible. Her nature was very soft. She was never offended by any disrespect newcomers to the mat showed her. She would never inform people, I am a senior devotee. But no, she would address even new brahmacharis with the honorific Prabhu. She was not in the habit of using the informal Hindi and Bengali pronouns tu or tui, which can convey disrespect. Though she spoke boldly and openly, she did not harbor malice toward anyone. No, in tui, I mean, everybody talks to me in tui all the time, like the brahmacharis and sannyasis and like that in the mat. I'm very used to being addressed by tui, but even though she was like a grandmother for all these brahmacharis, she never would speak like that. Actually, even the brahmacharis like of my own age would talk to me in tui. When she went traveling in the West, she was constantly meditating on the words, Ami to Vaishnava e buddhi hoile, amani na habo ami. If I start to think I am a Vaishnav, then I will not be, if I start to think I'm a Vaishnav, then I will not be able to be freed from the desire for prestige. She always meditated on these words. Okay, so that's a nice picture. That must be, that's in front of Nanda Gopal Prabhu's house. Padmanabha Maharaj approaching Uma Didi. Nice. Okay, preaching in the West. In May of 1996, Rukmini Didi saying that her mother also, Devamai Didi, also never used tui, even to you guys. Wow, amazing. Preaching in the West. In May of 1996, Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Maharaj, started traveling and preaching in Western and Eastern countries, leaving the devotees in Mathura in deep separation during his absence. When he would return from his summer and winter tours, Didi would eagerly await his arrival and carefully collect all the recordings that had been made during his tours. However, as the years went by, her separation to him became unbearable. Her Guru Maharaj told her to stay in the Dham and to do her bhajan, and Srila Narayan Maharaj told her the same. However, in 2006, a message came from her nephew in Houston inviting her to come for his daughter's graduation. She thought this would be a golden opportunity to be with Srila Gurudev in the West and hear from him. She asked him, Maharaj, can I visit my nephew and his family? He wrote that he will arrange everything for me. Srila Gurudev told her, one time you can go, but then you should quickly return. Thus, in the spring of 2007, with the diligent assistance of Shonak Rishi Prabhu, she had a passport made and had her visa approved, whereafter she traveled alone for the first time to USA. She traveled alone, wow, joining Srila Gurudev's tour, meanwhile preaching and holding small programs at devotees' houses. Shriman Brajanath Prabhu and Śrīmatī Vrinda Didi were pivotal in arranging for Uma Didi's travels to the West, and Vrinda Didi traveled extensively with Uma Didi for many years. Everywhere she went, devotees and guests became so captivated by her genuine nature, her Guru Nishta, her fast wisdom, simplicity, and loving attitude towards all she met. Thus, she soon conquered the hearts of many. At the end of the tour, she would have a large envelope stashed with small and big bills donated to her by her hosts and guests during her travels. During the last program that year in Italy, she handed this envelope over to Srila Gurudev, who became very surprised seeing all these bills. He said, "You have collected so much. Even my own sannyasis don't give that much to me." To this, Uma Didi asked, Maharaj, some devotees requested me to come and visit them again. So will you allow me to continue to travel and sometimes join you? He laughingly said, yes, certainly. I received some very good reports of your traveling. Uma Didi's heart jumped with joy. Now she could hear Srila Gurudev's Harikatha the whole year and witness his glorious preaching all over the world. This was the beginning of Uma Didi's tireless traveling from 2007 at the age of 74 till the lockdown in 2021 when she was 88. Wow, she traveled all the way till she was 88. Overall, she would visit devotees in 21 countries worldwide. In her advanced age, In her advanced age, Didi tolerated the strain of the long flights to Western countries, sitting in the plane's cramped seats, and sometimes sleeping on airport benches between flights. I saw a picture of that in the gallery. The extraordinary demands of traveling did not affect her. The extraordinary demands of traveling did not affect her regulated sadhan bhajan and her observance of Vaishnav sadachar. She would even bathe in tiny airplane bathrooms in order to perform her anak and chant japa properly. She did not let age or circumstances compromise her practices, and she went to all this effort expressly for the spiritual benefit of others. Whenever she arrived after a long and arduous flight, she always arrived happy and content. She never complained of any inconvenience or exhaustion. She had no conception of jet lag. What is jet lag? She had no conception of jet lag, but would instantly and naturally adapt to whatever time zone she found herself in. I remember hearing that from Ranga Didi in her glorification. And no matter how long the journey or what time she arrived, she would be sure to bathe and be ready for Mangal Arati, whether or not the devotees hosting her even got up for Mangal Arati. If they did not, she would not force anything on them, but would set an example that would inspire them to follow suit the next day or during future visits. A special feature of her preaching in the West was helping to encourage devotees to do Mangal Arati, to do their sadhan properly, and follow proper Vaishnav etiquette. As a Vaishnavi elder, she was in the unique position to explain to female devotees the importance of dressing modestly in spiritual gatherings and other devotional settings. In this way, she was an exemplary disciple of her Srila Gurudev, fully engaged in practicing and teaching. This is why her repetition of her Guru Varga's words had an impact on people's hearts. What our acharyas embody and have come to give is so beyond many of us that we sometimes validate our inability to properly aspire to imbibe their conduct and precepts. Didi, though, was like a family member, one that made the practice of bhakti look simple. She touched everyone's heart with her affection, compassion, purity, and conduct. Anyone could approach her without hesitation with questions related to bhakti philosophy or with material dilemmas. Didi would always repeat only what she had heard from Guru and Vaishnavas and would encourage the inquirer to focus on performing proper sadhan. By her example and relevant responses, she could easily transform a person. She regularly stressed that though we may collect many things in this world that we deem valuable, the most valuable thing is Bhagavan's name. Didi herself would often be awake at night, immersed in Harinam, and would encourage others to chant their Harinam before doing anything else in the day. I remember hearing from Vrinda Didi and others that they would go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, and they'd see her sitting up chanting in the middle of the night, chanting Harinam, like during Navadvip Parikrama time even. Oh, Rasaraj Prabhu was in that new Braj picture. Oh yeah, anyways, I'll go back to that later. Look, there's a picture of her sleeping on the airport benches. And now, look there, she's Uma Didi chanting with all the kids. Or no, she's with all the kids chanting. There's Madhavi and Mohini, Malini. That must be in Wales. Okay. So she would encourage others to chant Harinam before doing, So Didi herself would be awake at night, immersed in Harinam, and would encourage others to chant their Harinam before doing anything else in the day. Program sorry, I got Kejo Ras in it. He said it's going to go bad. Okay, look, there's Uma Didi doing Anukut. Bathing Giriraj doing Anukut in Badger. Okay, so her simplicity made others comfortable. Although she was referred to as Uma Didi, Didi meaning elder sister, the word Ma was embedded in her name and conveyed her motherly nature. Ma. She was always giving to everyone, never expecting anything from them. She used to insist that Ranga Didi did not ask their host for more than what their host had provided. She did not inconvenience others for the sake of her own comforts. In the West, with no servants in the homes, she made sure to never burden her hosts and would usually take on full responsibility for cooking for the deities, guests, and family members. When she'd visit somebody's home, she would be the cook for everybody. They wouldn't have to cook for her. Ranga Didi would assist her in cooking and would also wash the dishes. In this way, Uma Didi would greatly reduce any possible burden on the hosts. She looked after them. She did not expect them to look after her. Then the devotees she was staying with were worry-free, and they could take full advantage of the opportunity to listen to Hari Katha. When someone performed a little service to her, like fetching medicine, spices, or foodstuffs, she would ask, "What can I give you now? You have served me so much." Then she would give them prasad and her blessings. In 1996, Srila Gurudev had started the annual week-long Harikatha festival in New Badger, in America, and host an enormous Anukut Mahotsav and Giriraj Puja. The year after Gurudev's disappearance in 2010, the devotees' spirits were down, and there were many. After Gurudev's disappearance in 2010, devotees' spirits were down, and there may even have been discussion of selling the festival site due to financial pressures. When Uma Didi arrived, she encouraged the devotees to celebrate the festival with enthusiasm. She busied herself in making scores of preparations, just like she did in Vraj, and she continued doing that every year. She continued doing that every year she visited. She emphasized that Badger had a special significance as a key Guru Stan, a sacred place of Srila Gurudev, for he had visited every year without fail since his preaching had begun in 1996 and given such wonderful Harikatha there. In this way, Uma Didi encouraged the devotees' resolve to hold on to the property and celebrate the Badger festival every year. In 2021, Uma Didi fell very ill. When her treatments began costing a lot, some devotees, in a sincere attempt to serve her, began sending out requests on the internet to collect money for her treatment. When Didi found out, she immediately forbade the devotees from doing so. "Give back each person's donation," she said. "If money comes naturally, that is one thing, but I don't want devotees to be asked for money on my behalf. I am under the shelter of my Guru Varga. They will take care of me." Even in her very final days, when her physical condition was very precarious, Uma Didi refused to step back from glorifying her Guru Varga. On 21 January 2023, on Moni Amavasya, Uma Didi spoke in glorification of Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, at Sri Gopinath Bhavan on his Vyas Puja. And just 1 week before her departure, on 8 February 2023, on the Vyas Puja of Param Gurudev Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, she came by wheelchair to Sri Rup Sanatan Gaudiya Math to glorify Param Gurudev. In her final moments, her focus was on chanting Harinam. This was no doubt by her Gurudev's mercy, but it also broadcast the glories of a life of strict sadhan, proper Sharanagati, and conviction in her Guru Varga. And there's a picture of her glorifying Gurudev on that day. Wow. As a result of her sincere service and surrender to the Guru Varga over the course of her whole life, by the grace of Sri Guru, Uma Didi lived in Sri Vrindavan Dham in her final years and gave up her body on the bank of Sri Yamunaji next to Imlitala, close to Sevakunj. It was on the banks of Sri Yamunaji that her final rites were performed, which is referred to as Vraj Raj Prapti, attaining the dust of Vraj, and is the ultimate attainment. E dehayantima kale rakibo jamuna jale Jai Radha Govinda Pole bhasivogo. When this body is in its final moments, this is Narottam Das Thakur, he's praying. When this body is in its final moments, I will submerge it in the waters of the Yamuna, chanting, "Glory to Radha and Govinda." I will float away. Memorial festivals for Uma Didi were held in Sri Gopinath Bhavan, Vrindavan, Sri Rup Sanatan Gaudiya Math, Vrindavan, Sri Keshavji Gaudiya Math, Navadvip, and in various places in the West, in Houston, Miami, New York, Seattle, and elsewhere via Zoom. People all over the world who had been touched by Uma Didi's sublime qualities glorified her conviction in Sri Guru and Vaishnavas, her life of service, and her many wonderful qualities, and shared their personal experiences with her. When Vaishnavas dedicated to the performance of Sri Nam Bhajan proceeded to a spiritual destination befitting their sadhan, then the state of the devotee, when Vaishnavas dedicated to the performance of Sri Nam Bhajan proceed to a spiritual destination befitting their sadhan, then the state of the devotees left behind is referred to as viched or viraha dasha. The grief expressed, especially by Guru and Vaishnavas for their Guru Varga, and the absence of such Vaishnavas, is not ordinary grief. In the company of Vaishnavas, we gain great enthusiasm to engage in the practice of bhakti, so it is natural to express grief in their absence. For those of us who are opposed to the service of Bhagavan, hankering for profit, adoration, and prestige, and filled with a myriad of material desires, the expressions of grief articulated by the Vaishnav are especially helpful in ridding our hearts of impurities. From these narrations, we learn the specifics of how the Vaishnavas performed their sadhan bhajan. By discussing their glories, we advance in our own sadhan bhajan. When we manage to follow their example, the beauty of how they rendered service, how holy they gave their lives to service, the tendency for service arises in the heart, and we make great progress in the service of Hari, Guru, and Vaishnavas, and develop more enthusiasm. We have shown that Uma Didi led a very simple life, always devoted to Nam, studying and teaching the scriptures of pure devotion, hearing and remembering the Harikatha of pure devotees, cultivating renunciation from the sense objects, developing attachment to Hari, Guru, and Vaishnavas, love for the Dham and residence at the Dham, attachment to objects related to Bhagavan, expressing sublime mercy for the living entities suffering due to Kali, and preaching in tandem with proper personal practice. Through her Harikatha, conviction in following the rules of Bhakti Sadhan, maintenance of proper etiquette and conduct, her affection, prasad, etc., Uma Didi would inspire people who came into her proximity to advance along the path of pure devotion. For Gurudev's disciples, she was always like a mother, brimming with affection. For the sincere sadhaks, her life was like a pillar of light. In Kena Upanishad, it is described, Uma, the Divine Mother, is the embodiment of Pranav, of Omkar. She is the radiance of light and fragrance of flowers. Within her are the effulgence of thousands of suns and the pleasing coolness of thousands of moons. Wow, I've never heard that one before. It's the Kena Upanishad. We pray at Uma Didi's feet for her to shower such mercy on us that someday we develop but a particle of her devotional qualities, her conviction in the holy name, in Harikatha, in the holy Dham, and in serving Hari, Guru, and Vaishnavas, and thus follow her life of humble devotion. Jai Śrīmatī Uma Didi ki Jai. Bhakti Madhuri Shri Yukta Uma Didi ki Jai. Hey, what happened to the part about Ranga Didi? There's a whole section about Ranga Didi in here before.
Yeah, Ranga Didi forced me to remove it.
I guess she wouldn't be happy if we read it then. I really liked that part though. Anyways,
Yeah.
I wonder if we could just do it, and everybody here has to promise not to tell her.
I want to add, just because I haven't mentioned this anywhere, that this was mostly Amal Krishna Prabhu's compilation of, I guess, his own memories and from other devotees. And when I saw him during Kartik, he was, because he does the calendar, he does the Bhagavad Patrika, he does the reprinting of Gurudev's books. And on top of that, he was, writing and researching this, which was like, it was almost like 30 pages. And it was like, you could see he was like he was like visibly like tired or mentally, um, but he had such a strong desire to put this together and have it published in English and Hindi. I believe the Hindi version came out in Bhagavad Patrika during Kartik, and then Baijanti Uma Didi worked a lot on this. There was a lot of repetitions in the Hindi version, so she did a lot of editing. And
wasn't it like? Did he? How much did he like? How much shorter is it from the Hindi one? Didn't you cut out like half or something like that?
no, maybe reduced it about 5 pages. There was mostly just a lot of repetition.
Okay. Okay,
Um,
5 pages. Okay.
yeah. And then I think there were some things that you had shared and other devotees, Ranga Didi and Brinda Didi, and some of my own memories, one or two. And so it's like a real, kind of a tapestry. And that's also why I really want to encourage people to share whatever memories they have, submit any offerings, Pushpanjali, because every memory that we have contributes to all of us, to all of our smaran of her. And yeah,
Yeah,
but
so everybody, if you'll find everybody listening right now, you'll find on bhaktimaduri.com, you'll see at the top of the on on the right side, there's a link there, and you can click on it and you can submit your offering there to Uma Didi. There's only a couple there right now, but we're hoping many more will fill up, right? Yes. Manjari, Krishna Prem Sister Manjari is saying, this is so completely incredible and purifying to read. So well written. Yeah, it was a really, team effort. And Shivas, what is your plans with all the articles of Uma Didi that she translated? You'll be posting them on, like, how can people? You'll post them on bigdrum.us also, right, on this website. But like, I'm just wondering how people can get it. Like, will be notified when you translate a new article that she wrote for Gaudiya Patrika.
I'll probably put a message on Facebook, and then it'll
Will
come
you
out.
also? It will come out on Big Drum as well, though, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so if anybody wants to get this, I mean, it will be updated on the website, but so that you can actually know when a new article has come out, if you go to bigdrum.us and you subscribe to Srivas's website there, he also posts amazing, everything there is translated into English for the first time, all sorts of amazing things. Then you'll also get these articles by Uma Didi in your inbox. So. Jai Ho. That was really amazing. I mean, I don't know, something about like that whole disappearance time, hearing the glorifications of Uma Didi, there's something special about it, like that inspired me more than anything else, because we got to see, it was like more close to us. Like the lives of our acharyas, of course, is very inspiring and everything, but Uma Didi showing like how a servant of Gurudev, how the ideal way to live a life like that, and like the ideal example, it's something that's like really like, yes, I can try to be like this. I don't know, there's something that was more close and like practical. I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, I don't know. It's just, and then hearing all the devotees' glorifications of her and how she impacted everyone in like such a deep way. and this never came out until just you know, like I didn't even realize how much she had an impact on everybody until after her disappearance. Yeah, and Rukmini Didi saying, and down to earth. Yes, extremely down to earth, really, right? Just very, yeah, no pretentiousness or anything, completely direct and humble and straightforward. Yeah. Jai, Uma Didi ki jai. So yeah, I hope many devotees will submit their offerings. And yeah. Shivas, do you have anything to add?
Just that, yeah, I think it's special to, like she said, you know, even the baby finger gets burnt, you know, it hurts the body. And by that same measure, by the principle of, you know, dasa, dasa, nudasa, you know, when we glorify, when we remember personalities like her who were, I think, more advanced than we realized or appreciated at the time. She, yeah, sorry. She was, you know, she was like Gurudev's and Srila Bham Goswami Maharaj and Srila Trivikram Maharaj's like daughter. And I personally, I feel I a lot of nourishment by remembering her and trying to glorify her. I feel like our Guru Varga would be pleased with that, us, you know, glorifying their dear, darling daughter. That's all.
Yeah, Uma Didi was so like Srila Gurudev, Srila Vaman Goswami Maharaj, and Srila Trivikram Goswami Maharaj were so much Uma Didi's like everything, that you can't think about Uma Didi without remembering them, because like she was like every part of her being, every iota of her was just full of dedication to those three. Like I haven't seen with anybody else dedication to their guru like I've seen with Uma Didi. And so yeah, really, like anything about Uma Didi, it's all their glories. Everything is a glorification of them, not of Uma Didi. And yeah. And I also I feel exactly like Yeshivas. Like when she was here, I didn't really understand how, like, who she was really, and like what her glories were or anything like that. I mean, I had lots of honor for her, and I probably respected her the most out of anybody. But it was after her disappearance, like that time, and then we're hearing all these glorifications, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, who is this person? Yeah. That was...
Yeah.
All right. Oh, Haribo Rasapriya, Didi, thank you. Wow, many people joined today. All right, so it is now 9:02 a.m. This is a very long session.
Well, I guess you want we can talk.
Oh, yes. Haribo, Haribo.
Have the mic open.
Haribo. Okay.
This is a very long session.
Oh, I just wanted to say something. Okay. Yes. I have a lot of videos of her. I have a video of her giving class in the wheelchair at Gopinath Bhavan. I have a video of her sending a message to Jagadatri, and I have a video of her speaking that I'm giving a message to all the devotees in Hawaii, and I have her chanting japa. But I was just looking on my phone, I'm a tech tard, and I have 554 videos. So I'm trying to go through them. I immediately found a video of her sitting in her wheelchair at Gopinath Bhavan or on the Jamuna chanting japa. But when I recorded it, I accidentally hit a button and it has Karmi music from the internet with her chanting japa.
All that can be edited. Oh, okay. Anyhow.
That can be edited. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, we can see what you can do. But yeah, if anybody has any kind of resources like that, her Harikatha, recordings of her Harikatha, videos and all that, then I'm not sure Srivas, who's the person to contact? Like, is Vrinda Didi, is she organizing all that side, like the audio and video side?
No, you can contact me.
Okay.
And yeah, there's a Bhakti Madhuri email, which I should post. And so you can email it to that address and or upload it to that.
My problem is I'm a tech tard, so I don't know if I'll be able to send it
I like that
successfully.
term. I haven't heard that before.
Me either. But yeah, also you can find Srivas on Facebook. It's Shri Space Vas on Facebook.
Okay.
But
Well,
probably the email is the best way, right?
I also have her procession after she left on the way to the Jamuna, and I have video of that also. So
that's really I've been struggling to find video of her, like a good quality video also. So
I don't know if it's good quality, but I can send everything and you can do whatever. Yeah, it's my iPhone. Yeah.
Check out the pictures, the gallery on bhaktimadhuri.com. It's really like that. It's really amazing to see. It's pictures throughout her whole life, from her family time all the way up to the very end. It's really, really amazing.
Yeah, I'd like to add whatever videos we found. I'd like to add to that gallery.
Yes, that would be really nice.
Yeah, I don't think we have it, but when she was not well, we went in and we brought the guitars and sang for her. But I don't think we videoed it. And she gave us. And she told us that we should go and sing for the deities every day at 5 o'clock, but 4 o'clock or something. But
very nice.
Ashikala was doing a Bhagavatam class. Yeah, another reading. But we used to do that for the deities before they had a temple. And he came to our house. She became like she came to our house. But anyway, we can tell that later. But I'll just try to find all the videos.
Yes, you should write your offering. Write an offering, and you can explain all this in the offering, and we'll put it on the website.
Wonderful.
Wonderful. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining, and I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. Jai Ho. Anything more before I end the stream?
Oh, thank you both of you, Srivas and the team, and like that. It was wonderful reading. Most wonderful reading.
Thank you.
You captured her spirit.
Dandavat pranams. Thank you, everybody, for joining. There's so many devotees here today. Dandavat pranams to all of you. And yeah, Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Śrīmatī Uma Didi, Bhakti Madhuri, Shri Yukta Uma Didi ki Jai.
Jai
Her
Ho.
whole life of glorious service to her Gurudevs ki Jai.
Jai.
Jai. Ranga Didi ki Jai. Her very dedicated sevika. Hari Bol. Jai. Maybe we should do proper Jai Dvani. Okay, I'll do a proper Jai Dvani and then we'll end for today. I'll do a shortened Jai Dvani.
Okay.
Jai Shishi Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhari Shishi Radha Vinod Bihari Ju ki Jai. Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju ki Jai. Nityalila Pravishtam Vishnupa Rashata Rashata Shishmar Bhaktivedanta Narayan Gosai Maharaj Shila Gurudeva ki Jai. Nityalila Pravishtam Vishnupa Shishmar Bhaktivedanta Trivikram Gosai Maharaj ki Jai. Nityalila Pravishtam Vishnupa Rashata Rashata Shishmar Shila Bhaktivedanta Vaman Gosai Maharaj ki Jai. Nityalila Pravishtam Vishnupa Rashata Rashata Shishmar Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Shila Prabhupada ki Jai. Nityalila Pravishtam Vishnupa Rashata Rashata Shishmar Shila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Nityalila Pravishtam Vishnupa Rashata Rashata Shishmar Shila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki Jai. Shila Prabhupada Parishad Brinda ki Jai. Jai Nityalila Pravishta Mahabhagavat Shila Gorkishora Babaji Maharaj ki Jai. Nityalila Pravishta Shila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki Jai. Nityalila Pravishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Shila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj ki Jai. Shri Rupa Nuvagoriya Guru Varga ki Jai. Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jeev Gopal Bhattadas Raghunath Shad Gosai Prabhu ki Jai. Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda ki Jai. Namachay Shila Haridas Thakur ki Jai. प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जाय। श्री क्षेत्र मंडल गौर मंडल व्रज मंडल मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की जाय। सर्व अभिष्ट प्रदत्त गिरिराज महाराज की जाय। श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड की जाय। श्री मुन देवी गंगा देवी की जाय। श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जाय। श्री भक्ति देवी की जाय। श्री पूर्णमासी योगा माया की जाय। श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जाय। श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जाय। Bhakti Madhuri Shri Yukta Uma Didi ki jai. And Śrīmatī what is it? Sarayu Bala ki jai. Śrīmatī Gargi Didi ki jai. And all of Uma Didi's god brothers, god sisters, and all disciples of the three pillars of the Gaudiya Math ki jai. Jai Shri, and all the Vaishnavas. Shri Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Gaur. Vrindai Tulsi Devai Priyai Keshavashacha Krishna Bhakti Pradadevi Satyavatai Namo Namaha. Vancha Kalpatarubhyashta Kripa Sindhubhya Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Dandavat pranams. Sorry, that was a bit of a weird Jadwani, but okay. Dandavat pranams, everybody. Thank you so much for joining, and see you all. I don't know if anybody wants to join. I'll do readings every day. So Haribol. And also, actually, I don't know. Shivas might get really upset for me for this, but anyways, even though this whole project was a group effort, like Shivas is mentioning, all the people who contributed to writing, and Amal Krishnarud making the Hindi Bhagavat Pajika article, but this website was like putting it all together, doing so much of the work was like, yeah, it wouldn't have happened without Shivas. So he even though it was a group effort, but yeah, Shivas is one of the main people who got this website, bhaktimaduri.com. So yeah, very grateful to Shivas for that.
Their name.
But sorry for that, Shivas. You're probably really annoyed that I said that. All right, Dandavat pranams, everybody. See you. Hari
You brat.
Sorry. Okay, Hari Bol.